Ben.
They always had a cover set for rain. Probably the board got shuffled around a couple of times of something. It was pretty much to the hour of shooting, and I don't recall this screenplay having a lot of pink and blue pages or yellow pages. If one doesn't know, that means rewrite, new pages that would indicate change. There may have been things dropped, but if so, I don't recall. These Revell models that King has in the book, we couldn't find them anywhere. The property department could not find them. And I remembered my production designer, Bob Burns, from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And he used to have all sorts of things like that. And I thought, you know, if anybody can find them, he can. And so I called him and I said, do you have any idea they'd stop making them, where you could find these specific ones? And he said, yeah, let me check it out. And he called me back and he said, yeah, I found them. And I said, oh, great, Bob. Can you go buy them and put them together and send them out here? Or I'll arrange someone. But anyway, they showed up in the mail, put together with a bill for $25. That was probably one of the best deals in motion picture history.
Like you were interested in numbers, so you became an accountant.
No record?
Traveled a lot. There's no
In Chainsaw, I think I had 30 shooting days, 37 days for this. I don't recall there being any real difference other than it was easier to shoot with a well-oiled crew and with professionals that had been working a lifetime. I don't know how it changed the style so much as I probably had less coverage shooting this because it was character dependent. I think visually my films take on a little different style, and everything I do, I seem to want to reinvent myself. That may be a good thing or a bad thing. Possibly adapting to the schedule had something to do with it. I thought there would be this big difference, but I found that I wasn't aware of the hugeness behind me, because if I'm looking at that, I can't see this. So I'm almost never aware of what's going on behind me while making a film until something hits me.
Hill didn't wake up till morning.
This was after Danny Glick's funeral.
There? Somebody out there. And I let him in.
And the transition of being dead and then coming to, kind of waking up. I mean, I treated it as though they were waking up into a new consciousness, a new life. So it was something easy for the actor to adapt that ideal. It seems logical that that's what it would be. I don't think they knew that they were necessarily a bad thing as it was happening to them until the hunger set in. Mark Petrie does have an inner strength that allows him to go through this scene without damage or transition. It's because he believes in things like this. This is a part of his makeup, his writing, his fascination with monsters. So he has a kind of knowledge that gives him a courage to resist. That's a vampire setting. And he knows that they can't come in unless they're invited. And he made that transition as he started to unlatch the window. I'm really proud of this sequence. Lance Curran had this television show that ran for I don't know how many years. James at 16. He had a lot of flying hours.
I'm sorry.
It was important for me to get the drama right. It was deliberate not to cut into a close-up of the dad and that over from Mark to the silhouette of the father. Cutting into the dad would have destroyed the vibrations and the tone of what you'd just been through.
Turn your head, Mike. This way. Where did you get these marks?
At this time, I believe it was the most expensive miniseries made. The Morrison house was built. The cast certainly supports the idea of epic, and that had some of my favorite actors. They were all good actors, and they were actors that were working inside the acting style of their time, and it was big. David was trying to show how good an actor he is. He was trying to break the idea of being Starsky and Hutch or being a piece of product rather than a very talented man. And he's very good in this, and he's a very good actor. Starsky and Hutch was good to him, but he needed to move on.
Mr. Mears, telephone.
I've become very good friends with David by this time in production, and he would totally surprise me. When he's talking on the phone to Susan Norton, I could hold on him a long time, and he would hold up a long time rather than shooting bits and pieces. He had the chops to hang in there in a oneer and do quite a long scene.
Give me about 10 minutes. Well, hell no, I was a Baptist.
No, this is on the soundstage. The bedroom is a build.
He's all right, Jason. He's sleeping.
The window's open. It was closed and locked. I made sure of it.
Mike, wake up.
It was really beautiful watching things play out. I really love when it's working. You make adjustments and corrections, and to just watch it in real time with a much faster shutter, your eyeballs without a shutter in front of a lens, really did a lot for me and emotionally to me. I see a lot of films where performances are bad, and I actually wonder how that happens with good actors. Like, what do you have to do to a good actor to make him look bad?
It puts us in the position where we have to do something. Let them find the cause of death.
If a director is obviously knows what he wants, but is also in collaboration with an actor, and you see the director running around and you feel safe with him. If you're doing your job, your actors will feel safe. I came out of everything from camera. I could have shot the movie if I had to. Makeup. I mean, it was making 8mm films when I was a very small child. I made my first talking movie when I was 16 years old, but all of that was a process of learning. I can't remember a time that I wasn't doing it and growing with it.
Bill, do you believe in ghosts?
Ghosts, no.
Witches?
Vampires?
When I was just starting, I made little theatrical 8mm films. And then I only had one legitimate job, and that was an usher in a movie theater, and I was incompetent at that job and was fired after 2 or 3 weeks. So I started getting into film through documentary filmmaking, companies that would hire me to be a cinematographer. I proved that I could do that. I could do makeup and I excelled at editing. I love editing. I've made a couple of films, one film in particular called Eggshells, about 1969 and college campus, hippie commune, a film for festivals. It did get a few play dates and won some awards, but it was kind of this fantasy, psychedelic kind of film. And it didn't succeed in doing what I wanted it to do, and that was to get another job making another feature-length film. I liked all films. And I noticed in a genre film, you could make a low budget. You didn't need established stars. There were a lot of expenses that you didn't have to have. So I made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it was such a successful movie. The next thing I made is in the genre, and then you're stuck. I mean, not really if you want to wait 25 years between films, but if they know you can do it, this is what they offer. I understand it. This is still a pretty good place of business. Having my own business as a making genre, I may as well make the best out of it. Really investigate and experiment with this as a part of my reality now as a film director.
Interesting.
I can remember James and his wife Clarissa, and we were in the wardrobe warehouse here, and he was rummaging through the wardrobe looking for the kind of thing that his character, after having read the book and of course agreed to do the screenplay, what would Straker wear? What kind of hat would he? He and I also developed a lifelong friendship for him. I mean, he was a wonderful guy. He thought I was a little eccentric, and he thought Kubrick was eccentric. Stanley had this reputation of being hard to work for because he would do so many takes, because what he was doing is just working the acting out of them. But Mason loved him from Lolita, whereas other actors would complain about that.